this is my note card. Nothing else on it. My ID. Me. Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Michaela Mulligan, and today I'm going to be telling you about fast fashion. So, Black Friday is tomorrow, and I'm sure you guys are all thinking about what you're going to buy, what sales you're going to get, but have you really thought about if you're going to be using any of those things or if you're just buying it for the sale? So today I'm going to try to persuade you to get away from fast fashion and to start buying things more sustainably. So I have done a lot of research on this topic. I've written articles on it. So it's something I really care about and something that's really important to me. So today I'm going to be talking about the major issues associated with fast fashion, the solutions for fast fashion, and then kind of the future of fast fashion. Okay, so I'm going to start off by telling you what is fast fashion. According to a peer-reviewed article I wrote, fast fashion is basically clothing that's created very quickly and very cheaply by major brands like H&M and Zara, things like that. And they usually come at the cost of the environment and human life. According to New York Times, 60% of all clothing that is actually made by these types of brands come from fossil fuels. So, meaning the fabrics that they make come from fossil fuels. 85% of all fabrics end up in landfills, and so because all of those fabrics are actually, a majority of them are made from fossil fuels, they don't break down, so they continue to end up in landfills and kind of pile up. And so this woman, Dana Thomas, she's actually a journalist. She wrote this book called Fashionopolis, The Price of Fast Fashion and the Future of Clothes. And she did an interview with Vox, which is another media outlet, and she kind of talked about some of the major issues involved with fast fashion. And like I said, it's very environmentally harmful, but it's also very harmful to people as well. So, for example, brands like Zara is actually owned by a billionaire. He's one of the biggest billionaires in the world. But he can sell a jacket for, say, $19.99, but the person who actually made that jacket was only paid 19 cents. So,
19 cents?
Yeah, 19 cents.
That's what you said.
Yeah, 19 cents. So, obviously, human impacts are great. And then Thomas also talked about how in Bangladesh and India and China, a lot of these places where fabrics are made, they've actually, since the fabrics are so toxic, the rivers and stuff around there have actually become environmental dead zones, meaning that nothing can survive in those environments, which is really horrible, obviously. And I also want to talk to you about Audrey Stanton, who she's also a journalist. She says that 11 million 11 million tons of fabric are actually thrown away each year. So we're not super sustainable when we're talking about fast fashion, and that's a big problem. Okay, so now I want to tell you about a solution for you, the consumer. Obviously, the consumer is the person who's promoting all of these things, as well as these big brands like Zara and H&M. But what you can do is stop purchasing from these companies. So what you can do is start purchasing from companies like Rent the Runway or ThredUp. So Rent the Runway is actually a rental service where you can rent clothing instead of buying it. So that means that your carbon footprint is being lowered, and anything that you end up purchasing from these places, or not purchasing, but renting, will actually go back into another person's closet, and it's going to continue the cycle. And then ThredUp is actually an online thrift store, so you can send in your clothes and you can buy secondhand from them, and it's very easy. And it's also something that we've seen is like sustainable for a company. Rent the Runway is actually going to be hitting $1 billion in profits this year, which is a big deal. So it's something that we've seen is able to work and is sustainable for companies, and so it can be sustainable for you as well. And then I also wanted to mention, before I go on to the next slide, if you're worried about these clothes not maybe being as sanitary or as clean, Rent the Runway actually said in a video by The Economist that they have the biggest cleaning facility in the world, meaning washing machines and stuff like that. So it's all very clean and very sustainable. Okay, so So I also want to mention our future. So what our future would look like 10 to 20 years from now if we decided to keep going with fast fashion. So basically, as I said before, it's horrible for the environment. The human cost is really awful. So obviously our landfills will continue to fill up. And then I also want to talk to you about ourselves, the people who are wearing the clothes. So since these products are actually made from fossil fuels, they also have been seen and known to be made from lead. So that can actually mean that there's toxic lead in your clothing that you're wearing. Yeah, so that means that you can actually end up with lead poisoning, which can lead to infertility, and it can lead to heart problems and a number of other health issues. So it's not just the environment that's being affected, and it's not just those people making your clothes are being affected, it's also you as well. Okay, and then so say we did get rid of fast fashion companies, what would that future look like? It means that our carbon footprint is going to be a lot smaller. Fashion carbon footprint is going to be a lot smaller. We're going to be living a lot more sustainably and more economically as well. And it's just something that's going to be a better future for everyone and for the people who are making these clothes as well. So, in conclusion, so as I have said before, fast fashion, as I keep saying, fast fashion is very bad for the environment. It's something that we need to address as a society. So I'm asking you, the audience, to think more sustainably about the clothing you're purchasing and stay away from fast fashion companies. So that means going to a thrift store or maybe renting a dress for an event that you might have bought instead. So say if you bought wanted to buy a really nice $100 dress, you could rent it for $20 and give it back, and you're the same thing. You would have worn it for one night anyway. Fast fashion is close to my heart just because I love clothes, but I also love the environment, and I care about the people that are making our clothes, and I want to make something that I care about, fashion, sustainable for everyone, and something that's not going to affect anyone negatively. So it's something I really care about, and I think it's something that you guys should care about as well. In summary, fast fashion is something that we really need to address as a society. It's something that needs to obviously have some serious changes, and that can start with you guys. As it says, fast fashion may be cheap, but someone is paying for it. Great, thank you. And then I will take questions.
Now, actually, what is fast fashion?
So fast fashion, it's just a term for a business model. So Zara and H&M, those type of big stores, they create fashion very quickly as opposed to say the 60s when you had seasons. So there was winter, fall, summer seasons. Now instead they do weekly seasons. So there's 52 seasons in a year. And so they make an overabundance of clothes very cheaply in hopes that people will just buy as much as possible, and then anything that isn't bought gets thrown away. Yeah.
So, how are you going? How are we going to get rid of these companies?
So a part of not buying from them, obviously, I don't know if you've seen, but Forever 21 is actually going bankrupt as well. In the author of the book that I mentioned, she actually kind of talks about how their way of making an overabundance of clothes, it has made them money, but it's not a sustainable thing. It's not profitable to be making extreme amounts of clothes and then not selling all of it. So if these companies see that they're not selling clothes, they're going to have to change their business model, and hopefully that includes being more sustainable. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions? No? Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very